What's poppin', Giants fans, Hob watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's your boy Noname back at it again with another Giants update video. Of course, we got some news today, but first things first, memberships are now available. You can join the channel, support the channel a little bit more if you join by being a member. Shout out to my members, Nikki, OGR, and diehard Giants fan, and merch is available. In fact, I just made some new merch last night. The Joe Judge inspired tees and sweatshirts and tank tops, bro. I saw that video. I was like, let me put this on out there. It already had a couple sales. I was like, bet, yo, the Judge design are now up on the Teespring store. Make sure you click that link, go check it out. Get yourself some of that sweet merch. Sweater season is coming around, and I personally think that white Judge sweater looks pretty damn hot. With all that being said, let's get into the news. Of course, the Giants have signed, I'm going to call it a re-sign of Jon Halapio. I know it's technically a sign because we cut him, I think, back in like January or February. We cut him very, very early on in the offseason, and now he's back on with the Giants, and they also picked up a wide receiver and Johnny Holton, who was formerly with the Raiders. So first, and then I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Dave Gettleman and the quotes from his press conference. So first, let's cover Jon Halapio, right? So, I mean, you look at this, and on the surface, you think, why in the world did we pick back up a guy who we let go of because he couldn't stay healthy? That was the main reason we let go of Jon Halapio. Other than the fact that, you know, he was a below average starter, right? Some people will go as far as to call him a terrible starter, but I'm just going to say he was below average. He wasn't that good as a starting center for the Giants, right? But with Halapio, and you look at the way that the center competition has been going, it does make you think why to bring him in. And now, since it's because, you know, it's technically kind of like my job to let you guys know all sides of the story, I'm going to present to you a couple reasons that may or may not be why we picked Halapio back up. Of course, you know, the first one being they just want some competition at the center position, and they are comfortable bringing in a guy that they're familiar with. And in this case, the day would be Dave Gettleman and the front office, not at all the coaching staff, because they have no experience with Jon Halapio. Of course, Daniel Jones has experience with him. Some people on the offensive side of the personnel have experience with him, but the coaching staff do not know this guy at all, right? So maybe they just need a little bit more competition at center. Maybe they wanted to spice things up between Pulley and Gates, and we have no idea what's happening with Shane Lemieux at this point. I haven't heard anything about him in a long time, but maybe they want to spice up that competition. And this is a guy that in the past 2 training camps actually won the job from Spencer Pulley. It was one of the reasons when we cut him, a lot of people were questioning why didn't we cut Pulley instead, because Pulley couldn't beat this guy out for the job. Well, we all know the answer to that. It was just he couldn't stay healthy. So it could be just that. It could, however, be, and this is a bit more of a negative kind of reason, a bit more of a pessimistic take on it. It could be because maybe either Pulley or Gates is struggling or not doing as good as the media would let us know, or as good as Coach Judge would let us know. Now, I'd like to say, Joe Judge hasn't said one bad thing about any player yet, and I don't expect him to. Both because he's a new coach and it would just kind of be detrimental to his relationship with the players, and also because no type of coach ever really tells the media, you know, it's not their job, and honestly they shouldn't do this, tell the media whether or not a player is having problems in training camp, you know, is having problems progressing, or whether or not they're having a problem at a certain position, because you're revealing your weaknesses and, you know, a little bit of information that probably shouldn't be out there. So, but I will say, Judge has never said anything bad about any players, which is why whenever he's like, oh, the competition at center is scratch even, I'm like, that's a lie. In fact, in my video yesterday where I talked about Nick Gates, how I said I kind of expect him to be the starter week 1 because Judge then came out and praised him about how well he's doing. That's not exactly supporting or in line with the quote where he said that the competition at center is scratch even. So maybe it's the fact that either Pulley or maybe even Gates is struggling a bit more than, you know, we actually know about, because once again, with beat reporters kind of just stuck, not being able to witness everything as they usually can, we're not getting the full story here. They brought in Halapio, or Halapio, however you say his name. I'm just going to say Halapio, because he actually beat Pulley a couple times before, and when healthy, I fully expect him to beat Pulley for the job again. Not sure how he's going to do against Nick Gates, but one thing we got to remember, and this kind of shocked me and really let me know how much in dire need we are of a starting center, Jon Halapio, as of right now, because he was signed by the Giants, is the best option at center when healthy. Now, before you call me crazy, let me finish. He's already better than Pulley when healthy. We have 2 years of training camp to prove that. and by default, he'd be better than Shane Lemieux or Nick Gates simply because we haven't seen them play yet. Now, until we see them play, then we can pass judgment, right? Until we see Nick Gates comes out as the center day one and this guy shocks everybody and, you know, performs like a top 15 center, then we can judge and then we can say, yeah, Nick Gates is better than Halapio. But as of right now, based on prior information and just data that's readily available to us, Halapio is the best option at center, you know, just based off of experience and whatnot, which is kind of crazy to think about. But it is possible that that's one of the reasons they brought this guy back in, because ultimately when he was cut by the Giants, I was like, all right, that's it, done deal, he's out of here. Now, another reason they could have brought him in is because they're probably planning on cutting Pulley, which kind of goes a little bit in line with my second reason, the pessimistic reason of maybe some of these dudes are struggling. Maybe Pulley is struggling so much that they're like, yo, listen, we're just going to bring Halapio in. He's going to be better depth than Pulley, and he's not going to start, so he's not really going to get injured like that. Let's cut Pulley. We're going to save some cap money, you know, some cap space. We're going to save some money, recuperate some of what we gave to Logan Ryan, and we're going to, you know, get Halapio in here for a very cheap deal. Now, as of right now, I can't exactly find how much money they're giving him, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's around or even less than $1 million, maybe a couple $100,000, just because of, you know, the type of player that Halapio is. And I think Spencer Pulley is getting a couple million right now. So that could be it. In fact, if I were to bank on any of these reasons, my personal belief is that it's the last one. They're trying to save some money here. Now, I did find one interesting thing on Giants.com that I did not know that I'm going to share to you guys right now, and is that Halapio actually knows Joe Judge from his New England days. It says Halapio entered the NFL as a 6th-round draft choice of the New England Patriots in 2014 when Giants coach Joe Judge was in his 3rd season as the pass assistant special teams coach. He was also in New England's training camp in 2016. In the interim, Halapio did stints with the Denver Broncos and Arizona Cardinals. He joined the Giants practice squad on September 29, 2016 and was signed to reserve side and a future contract on January 9, 2017. And honestly, I didn't know that Jon has been with the Giants for so long. I thought he was with us since 2018. Evidently, he's been with us since 2016, but due to technicality, he wasn't officially on the roster until 2017. And then, of course, let's get into the homie Davey G, Dave Gettleman, Giants Twitter's favorite whipping boy since Eric Flowers left the team. Dave Gettleman has become that guy. Sorry, I had to get that joke in there. You guys know me. I try to be as objective as possible when it comes to Dave Gettleman, but because I'm actually objective when it comes to him, and you know that means I point out both the good and the bad, people think of me as a Dave Gettleman stan, which I don't think those exist at all, but they do categorize me as that. But let's get into some of Dave Gettleman's quotes. It's been actually a long time since we had a press conference with him. I hope he's doing okay. As we all know, he's a cancer survivor, and with the whole COVID thing, I hope that he's been doing fine. And I got a couple of specific quotes here from Dan Salmon. The first one says, Dave Gettleman's impressions of a Joe Judge training camp. What you see is everybody working, people are busy, nobody is hanging out. Now, you know, just looking at this, I was like, I don't know why Dan would put this up here on Twitter. This is just a regular old quote describing what training camp sounds like. Then I realized he probably put it up because Dave never really said this about Pat Shurmur's training camp, right? We don't know what it was like on the inside the building of Pat Shurmur's training camp. For him to point out something specific like this probably leads me to believe that not necessarily dudes were hanging out, but maybe everybody were doing their job like they were supposed to, or to the extent that they were supposed to do it, which will kind of explain the various coaching inconsistencies of Pat Shurmur and his staff throughout the regular season. The next one, he says, when you're building a team, you can't put pressure on yourself that I have to do this now. What happens is you'll make mistakes, you'll reach. We're working on building it every day, and thank God, bro. This right here is him talking about building for the future. This right here is saying we're not a win now team. This right here is supporting the right thing, which, you know, me and a couple other of Giants YouTubers and fans have been arguing for, and that is continue the rebuild. Don't get into a win now mode this year. Maybe win now comes next year or the year after that. We'll just have to see how the rebuild goes, but we are not ready as of right now. We're still gathering the building pieces. In fact, I think this was the year that we got all of the foundation together, and now we're going to start to build up that proverbial house, you know, that is the Giants. We finally got, you know, the starting quarterback. We got the running back. It seems like we might have a future offensive line. It seems like the defense is slowly coming together. Yes, there's a couple finishing pieces to be put there, but that's the case. Finishing pieces. Let the team play. Let it go out there. Let them make mistakes. Let them make, you know, successes. Let them have wins. Let them have losses. Let them fail. Let them succeed. Just let them be the team, let them go out there and play and build from there. Don't rush things. I love the fact that he said this, and it kind of supports theories that people have been having that Gettleman, despite the fact that his job is on the line this year, and his job was on the line during the draft of this year, he's thinking about building for the future rather than winning now. You know, it speaks volumes when he took Andrew Thomas. That's not a win now type of pick. That's a building for the future pick. You know, the way he approached free agency and whatnot, in terms of the length of the contracts, he's building for the future, and I do like that. The second to last quote I'm going to give you all from Gettleman is not even a quote really. Dan Salomon kind of summarized what he said, Dave Gettleman said Daniel Jones did things no other rookie had done last year and showed a lot of impressive traits, including rallying a team to victory. The only blemish is the fumbles. Well, I would hope that Dave Gettleman thinks that Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, and that Daniel Jones is going to be good in the future and has a chance to progress, because Gettleman was the guy that took him. I think, you know, we all remember he staked his job on the line when he took Daniel Jones, and I would be surprised if Gettleman didn't say these things, because we often come back to it. We don't know what in the world type of scouting that him and his staff did to find Daniel Jones at a time when nobody was really looking at this dude like that. So I'm very happy to hear that. And of course, he does acknowledge the fumbles, which hopefully will be fixed this year. And the last quote I want to give you guys, kind of a philosophical one, as even Dan Salomon says it. He says, Dave Gettleman is getting philosophical. Seek to understand. Some people think if you yell the loudest, you win. It's not that way. And I just want to say this applies to a lot of situations, and I think Gettleman is saying it in more than just one context. I think he's saying it in the context of Joe Judge, of the criticism he's been getting in the mainstream media for trying to be a very strict coach, for trying to be, as they call him, a Belichickian coach, the guy that's impersonating Bill Belichick and whatnot. He's out here being too hard on the players. Now, he wasn't necessarily yelling at them, but I think it does connect to what Judge is saying. I mean, to what Gettleman is saying. And I think what Gettleman is saying is that you have to look deeper than that. Judge is not just yelling at these people. We know that because we're Giants fans and we try to keep up with the team and whatnot, but we know how he connects to the team, and it seems right now that they're buying in. And, you know, he's also talking about possibly the fans, saying that yelling and screaming is not going to fix anything. You know, continuing to just express your opinion in that way is not going to fix anything. And maybe even saying, going back to when he was talking about building for the future, that maybe we should have patience. You know, maybe we should just see this thing and see how it plays out. We should just wait and see what happens. And I mean, I don't know. It's a very philosophical thing, as Dan Salomon said, very vague and whatnot. I'd love to hear your interpretation of it down below, because quite frankly, I don't know what my interpretation is of it. That's what I got for y'all today. Put your comments down below, both about the Jon Halapio signing / re-signing and a couple of Dave Gettleman quotes I got for you guys. I'll see y'all tonight on Young Guns. I think today it's on Kid Blue's side, because last week it was on mine. And of course, check out the Mew merch. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.